The lounge carries the soft hum of early morning travelers, the low clink of cups, and the faint hiss of the espresso machine. Conversations float like whispers against polished marble floors. He steps in, measured and calm, every movement deliberate. His suit falls perfectly, not flashy, yet every gesture demands attention. The pilot shifts uneasily behind the counter, straight-backed, eyes scanning the room with a faint scowl. He straightens his uniform as if armor, but the tension in his shoulders betrays unease. "Good morning," the CEO says softly, voice smooth, controlled. "I have a confirmed first-class ticket." The pilot's lips tighten. "First class is unavailable," he says, clipped, eyes flicking toward a nearby passenger for support. "I see," the CEO replies, calm, letting the words hang. He sets his briefcase down, fingers brushing the handle once, slowly. Silence stretches. Other travelers glance up, sensing the quiet electricity in the air. A flight attendant leans slightly toward the pilot, whispering, "Maybe reconsider?" The CEO meets the pilot's eyes directly. No raise in voice, no tremor. Just presence. He pauses. Then softly, "Let's not waste time." The pilot swallows hard. Microaggressions, authority, and suppressed prejudice weigh visibly. Around them, the room feels smaller, every eye flicking between dignity and arrogance. Power quietly shifting without a single shout. A passenger shifts in their seat, catching a flicker of tension in the lounge. The pilot's eyes dart briefly toward the CEO, then away, stiff jaw, clipped movements. A whispered comment passes between two attendants. He looks uncomfortable. The CEO adjusts his cufflinks, fingers deliberate, exuding calm authority without a word. "You're sure about your seating?" the pilot asks, voice low, almost a challenge. "Yes, confirmed. Boarded first class." The CEO responds softly, eyes steady. The pilot's nostrils flare. He glances toward the passengers, searching for silent approval. None comes. A faint smirk passes over a fellow traveler, unnoticed by the pilot, unnoticed by him. The CEO leans lightly on his briefcase, a small assertion of space. "Is this really necessary?" The CEO murmurs to no one in particular, letting the question linger in the hum of the room. Around them, the microaggressions ripple, side glances, half smiles, suppressed sighs, tiny, quiet indicators of a prejudice starting to crack under observation. The pilot's voice cuts through the quiet hum of the lounge. "You'll have to take economy. First class is unavailable." The CEO lifts his gaze, calm, measured. "I have a confirmed ticket." "Let's not waste time." A faint shift stirs among nearby passengers. Conversations pause mid-sentence. Eyes flicker toward the exchange, some curious, some uneasy. The pilot straightens, jaw tightening. He hadn't expected resistance so quiet, so firm. "Sir, that's not usually—" "Please," the CEO interrupts softly, almost a whisper, yet sharp enough to halt the pilot. "We can follow protocol or we can honor facts. The choice is yours." The air thickens. A flight attendant glances away, pretending to adjust a tray, but her hands tremble slightly. Another passenger leans subtly forward, phone half raised, sensing the moment might become something larger. The pilot swallows, mind racing. Every micro-expression in the lounge feels magnified. The CEO's calm presence tilts authority silently. No shouting, no dramatics. Just a steady gravity that makes arrogance falter. For a moment, the lounge itself seems to hold its breath, waiting. The pilot leans back slightly, a smug smile tugging at his lips. "That should teach him," he mutters under his breath, convinced the moment is his alone. The CEO adjusts his cuff quietly, eyes calm, voice low. Authority isn't always in the uniform. Nearby, a passenger shifts, glancing from the pilot to the CEO, phone half raised as if sensing something is about to tip. A flight attendant clears her throat, pretending to straighten a tray, but her eyes linger. "Sir, maybe we should—" "No," the CEO interrupts softly, almost a whisper, eyes unwavering. "Let him speak. Truth has its own weight." The pilot stiffens, realizing the lounge is no longer just background. Whispers ripple gently, a quiet chorus of judgment threading through muted conversations. He swallows hard, trying to maintain the smirk, but the air has changed. Authority has shifted subtly, silently, yet unmistakably. A nervous glance, a muted cough, a pause in chatter. Tiny gestures signal the pilot's facade is cracking. For the first time, he senses the weight of the room, the slow pivot of collective awareness. His control is no longer certain. The CEO adjusts his cuff slowly, eyes scanning the lounge, yet his mind drifts back. He remembers the boardroom, the stifled coughs, colleagues glancing away when he raised concerns. They never hear me, not then, not now, he whispers to himself. A flight attendant hesitates near the counter. "Sir, are you okay?" "I'm fine," he says. Calm, but his jaw tightens. The pilot glances up, smirk fading slightly, sensing an unspoken tension he doesn't yet understand. Authority isn't given, the CEO mutters quietly, voice almost lost beneath the lounge hum. It's taken with dignity. Passengers sip coffee, phones half raised, oblivious to the quiet storm shaping the room. The CEO's composed exterior masks decades of dismissal, each memory sharpening his focus for the confrontation about to unfold. The pilot adjusts his cap, glancing around the lounge. "I run this floor." "Everyone knows it," he mutters under his breath, mostly to himself. A junior flight attendant hesitates nearby. "Sir, are you sure we should just do your job?" he snaps, voice clipped, then straightens, walking past the CEO with a brief dismissive nod. The CEO meets his gaze calmly. "Power without accountability is dangerous," he says softly. The pilot smirks, shrugging. "I've got rules on my side." The CEO's eyes linger, quietly unflinching. Rules mean little when integrity speaks louder. Passengers murmur quietly, noticing the tension. Crew members shift uneasily, sensing the weight of observation. The pilot moves on, unaware the room's subtle gaze has begun to tilt authority against him. The flight attendant leans slightly toward the aisle, voice barely audible. I shouldn't be here if this escalates." An internal affairs officer shifts, glancing at the pilot, then lowers his gaze. "Sir, this isn't right, but..." The pilot laughs under his breath. "Relax, everything's under control." A passenger's eyes widen as they notice the tension. Murmurs ripple softly, almost imperceptible. The CEO stands still, hands folded. He murmurs to himself, calm but deliberate. "Justice isn't loud. It's precise." The attendant swallows hard, stepping back. The officer exhales, realizing the pilot's aura of invincibility is quietly fraying. Passengers exchange subtle glances, their silence turning into silent judgment, marking the beginning of a power shift. The CEO steps closer to the mirrored wall, adjusting his tie, his eyes scanning the lounge. The pilot's smirk catches briefly in the reflection, then vanishes as he notices the CEO's calm stare. A crew member mutters under their breath, He looks different when he's silent." Passengers shuffle past, phones in hand, oblivious to the quiet battle unfolding in reflections. The CEO whispers to himself. Every gesture tells the truth they refuse to see. The pilot's fingers tighten around the railing. A subtle tremor betrays his composure. In the polished surfaces, restrained frustration and simmering authority face off silently. The CEO steps into the cockpit. Calm, deliberate, the pilot shifts in his seat, eyes darting to the controls, then to the CEO, pilot, tight-lipped. "Sir, This is my flight." CEO, even soft. "And I have a confirmed ticket." A flight attendant glances between them, whispering, I shouldn't be here if this escalates." The pilot swallows, fingers tapping nervously on the armrest. Internal affairs officer mutters, "Sir, this isn't right, but..." The CEO's gaze locks on the pilot, piercing yet composed. CEO, quietly, almost to himself. Authority isn't in fear. It's in responsibility. The pilot's jaw tightens, sweat forming. His bravado begins to crumble in the silence. Passengers' whispers ripple faintly. Phones emerge to capture tension that they barely understand. CEO, calm, firm. Ground control, prepare for immediate review. This flight cannot continue under negligence. The pilot stares, words failing. His hands tremble over the controls. Narration. Every second stretches, heavy with observation. Quiet dignity now challenges hidden arrogance. The system's shield falters, exposed beneath measured restraint. CEO. Calm, firm. You chose arrogance over duty. That ends now. The pilot freezes, eyes wide. Pilot, stammering. The CEO picks up the radio, voice steady. Ground control, prepare for immediate review. This flight cannot continue under negligence. A flight attendant whispers to a colleague, "It's happening." Finally, passengers raise phones, capturing moments they barely understand. Internal Affairs officer mutters, shaking slightly, "Sir, it's escalating fast." The pilot's jaw tightens, hands trembling over the controls. Crew member quietly, He's being escorted." The pilot's smirk falters, replaced by shame and disbelief. Narration. Every blink, every reflection on polished surfaces tells the story of power unraveling. Phones ping, notifications pop, social media clips spreading in real time, the private collapse made public. Silence in the cabin amplifies authority now restored. A passenger murmurs, "Wow, he's really gone." Another nods quietly, respect in their eyes. CEO, softly to himself. Justice doesn't need noise. It just needs precision. The pilot is led away mid-flight. Murmurs of acknowledgement ripple like a quiet storm. Pilot, to himself, muttering, "How? Did it all go so wrong?" He picks up a badge, turns it over, sets it down slowly. Colleague, passing by, hesitant. Just give it time." Pilot, shaking head, voice low. "Time! I've got nothing left." Narration. The office feels hollow, echoes of unspoken judgments lingering. Privilege once assumed now crumbles quietly, leaving him exposed to the weight of his own choices. CEO, on a call, calm. "Yes, keep me updated on the review. Integrity first, always." Flight attendant, to another. The policy changes. It's different now. Passenger overheard in lounge. "I didn't see it before, but I do now." Narration. In small, quiet acts, the skyline observed, messages read, procedures shifting, the aftermath of reckoning settles. Justice may not shout, but it moves relentlessly, reshaping both hearts and systems. CEO, softly to himself. Change begins quietly, yet echoes forever. CEO, quietly to himself. Justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the silence after truth speaks. Flight attendant, softly, observing. It feels different now. Like we actually notice. Crew member, hesitant, almost whispering. "I can't ignore it anymore. The way things were." Passenger, muted, reflective. "I saw it. The arrogance, the blind trust. And now, narration. The cabin sits empty, a quiet stage for change. Every step, every glance carries weight. Arrogance has been unmasked. Power structures disrupted. Observers begin to see themselves in the mirrors of restraint and consequence. Colleague, nodding at CEO. "You handled it perfectly, without yelling." CEO, calmly with a faint smile. "Courage doesn't need volume. Precision suffices." Narration. Small gestures, quiet reflections, and subtle policy shifts ripple outward. Dignity and measured courage prove louder than any spectacle, leaving an indelible mark on all who witnessed it.